now we are live. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the second day of our CAAP webinar series. I am Dianne Balios, the CAAP Membership and Communications Officer. First part of our webinar will be the costs of change revisiting school fees, to be presented by Father Albert N. Delvo, CAAP Treasurer and the Superintendent of the Roman Catholic Bishop of Novaliches Educational System. Let us all welcome Father Delvo.
Esteemed brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Our presentation at this webinar is entitled Review of Tuitions and Fees. The rationale. The CAAP National Board created the Task Force COVID-19, comprising of several essential committees, and one of which is the Committee on the Review of Tuitions and Fees. The committee was tasked to assist the member institutions to manage the crisis and respond to the challenges brought about by the dangerous and deadly virus. Indeed, our schools have been adversely impacted by the disruption, peril, and damage caused by the invisible enemy. COVID-19 has ushered upon us unprecedented times and created a situation that is aptly termed or popularly called as the new normal condition. Such reality has prompted all of us to focus our head, hands, and heart on the essential components pertaining to our school's operation and delivery of avowed services. In this new normal condition, the review of fees and tuitions is deemed urgent, timely, and relevant to show genuine sensitivity, solidarity with, and support to our dear parents and guardians, especially in these most trying and challenging times. The objectives. This committee on the review of fees was commissioned to deliberate and offer some important recommendations to the CAAP member schools and do the following. Number 1, to share data or information on tuitions and fees to be collected or projected to be collected. Number 2, to identify and classify the fees using the SRDI table or quadrant. S stands for suspended, R stands for retained, D stands for decreased, and I stands for increased. Third, to recommend no increase in tuition if and when possible. Fourth, to recommend no additional fees to be collected if and when possible. And last, to share some initiatives and options on how to pay teachers and employees' salaries during critical months, namely June and July, while awaiting the formal opening of classes in August. Recommendations. Number 1, there is a need to revisit your school's vision, mission, and goals. They provide the impetus, the direction, and parameters for decision-making and charting the innovative course of actions the dynamics of operation, and the delivery of essential services. The vision, mission, goal statements can remind you of the vision that is worth pursuing, the voice that is to be listened to, the values to uphold, and the vital relationships that need to be nurtured and fostered. Second, be mindful of your school's beneficiaries and customers. By customers, we understand they are our parents, whereas the beneficiaries are our learners, their children. So at this time, we need to show our genuine thoughtfulness, sensitivity, solidarity, support, and care. We've got to warmly convey this to them, even prior to enrollment, and at opportune times during the school year. We've got to be mindful likewise of their financial standing or capabilities, and also their dreams, their aspirations, including their anxieties and fears during these COVID times. Third, look at your academic program. Determine the viable academic program and modalities of the teaching and learning processes which your school can effectively and productively implement. Is it a combination of on-site and online? Will it be online all throughout the school year? Will it be blended or hybrid? Will it be modified hybrid or modified blended? Figure out and communicate with your parents and guardians your precise game plan with clarity and conviction, even amidst uncertainties and disruptions. Fourth, assess your assets and allocate resources carefully. In the light of Professor Hoxon's input at Outbound webinar about a month ago, assets include items that are tangible, cash, account receivable, realizable assets, and other inventories, intangible, standard, quality, and name of your institution. People, expertise, talents, competencies, and skills, and time, not merely chronos, but essentially kairos, moments to make a difference, moments to grow and develop amidst adversities. On the financial aspect, containing or consisting of cash, accounts receivable, and revenues, carefully consider whether your school, number one, has more than enough, number two, has just enough, number three, is it currently approaching critical condition for this academic year? How long can your finances sustain or last? When is your school's red flag? Fifth, consider your workforce. Decide prudently on the size and strength of the workforce that is adequately needed to navigate your school in the direction of sustainability and success. The challenge is not just to survive, but thrive, even in these unprecedented times. For your school to emerge a winner, your workforce should be imbued with and characterized by agility, resiliency, and scalability. Sixth, review your fees. This entails not only a review, but also a reclassification of your tuitions, miscellaneous, and other fees using the SRDI table or quadrant. I repeat, S stands for suspended, R stands for to be retained, D stands for to be decreased, and I stands for to be increased. In the light of recommendation numbers 3 and 5, any of the following initiatives or options may be done or can be done. A, if you have money, give full salary in the transition months of June and July, in view of opening classes in August. B, apply 30% reduction of salary of teachers and employees. C, place some employees on floating status. Give them some take-out pay and monthly allowance for a period of 3 months, with accompanying advice to look for other job opportunities. D, staggered work arrangement. Pay your employees only on days when they come to school and work. E, no salary, only monthly allowance. Why do we have to consider any or combination of these initiatives or options? It should be remembered, most of us, if not all, were not able to collect the account receivable due in the month of February and March. Second, there has been a long delay in the enrollment. No money has come in. There has been a long delay and even uncertainty with regard to the opening of classes for the school year 2020-2021. We also have been giving some assistance in terms of charity to teachers and employees who are in most dire need. We have been helping likewise our parishes that was organized charity giving, especially to the less fortunate during these months heavily affected and impacted by COVID-19. The key, however, are the following. explain to teachers and employees the financial predicament of your school at the proper forum. Perhaps face-to-face meeting, of course observing social distancing and other basic safety and health protocols, or virtual meeting via Zoom platform. Get their consent on record. Exercise your prerogative to implement a decision. A good number of them, if not all, would easily understand and agree. A couple or a few others may agree with reservation. One or two or three, perhaps, may disagree. At the end of the day, you may exercise your authority, your prerogative, after you have done those processes I earlier mentioned. And this is very crucial. Furnish the Department of Labor and Employment the proper document of your discernment and decision, reflecting the identities, or at least the names, of affected employees. Disclaimer: appropriate consultation with all concerned groups and proper compliance with the requirements of the pertinent government agencies may be necessary before the adjusted and or modified schedule of tuition and fees is rolled out. Why do we have to be guided by this accordingly? Because perhaps there are schools with union and transactions entered into between the union and the institution. So they too, the members, the officers, if there are, need to be consulted at the proper forum. Third section of this presentation consists of samples. The first sample came from the Diocese of Imos Catholic Educational System, Incorporated. This was shared to us by no less than Father Alain Manalo, the Superintendent and Regional Director and Secretary of SAYAP National Board. The items to be suspended in the diocese or the diocesan educational system of Imos are the following: club fees, computer, AVR fee, scouting fees, campus ministry, Christian formation, student catechetical outreach, camping, Christian Living Magazine, CLE subscription, Christmas contribution, Rover Vigil, convocation, e-blast, family camp or family encounter, feast day celebration, field trip, curricular enrichment program, Foundation Day celebration, Solidarity Meal Program, intramurals and uniforms, GS Prom night, review reviewers, PTA, retreat, recollection, locker income, additional fees on installment. To be decreased in the educational system of Father Alain are the following: athletic fee or sports development, energy, TLE, HELE, laboratory, school publication, student activity development program, school plant development. To be increased, tuition fee or fees. On this matter, I understand Father Alain did submit a proposal to DepEd, and the proposal stands to be approved after all, and certainly. To be retained, the DIPSA Solidarity Fund, catechetical outreach, civic contribution, date automation, guidance and counseling, ID, medical dental, registration, report card, security, student accident insurance, students handbook diary, grace, ARC pre and post tests, Caritas outreach, laboratory fee for science, laboratory fee for speech, laboratory fee for TLE, EPP, graduation, moving up, recognition, class picture. The second sample came from the Roman Catholic Bishop of Novaliches educational system, of which I happen to be the superintendent and director of schools. To be suspended are the following: co-curricular club fee, intramurals, team sports, field trip, junior high school, senior high school prom, foundation anniversary celebration, field demonstration, ECE playroom and ECE day, dental care, class picture, students coordinating board and parents coordinating board, contribution, school paper, newsletter, scholastic speech lab, INTAP contribution, summer clinic, enrichment programs, surcharges, and penalties. To be decreased are the following: spiritual development, recollection, graduation, completion moving up fee, recognition, science laboratory, HE, TLE laboratory, lockers. The following may be further adjusted if face-to-face classes will not be allowed. 30 to 50% further reduction. Retreat, computer laboratory, energy fee for split type and window aircons. To be increased, RFID and school home communication system, medical care, modules, ICT infrastructure improvement and development, online subscriptions. This is the learning management system, and it includes the internet or other learning materials related thereto. To be retained, registration, guidance services, handbook, accidental insurance, membership fee, alumni membership fee, research, student development, instructional paper materials, calamity, charity contribution may be further adjusted, standardized pre-test and post-test fee. The third sample came from the Religious of the Virgin Mary educational system. This was shared to us by no less than the Vice President of the CAAP National Board, Sister Marisa Veri of Davao City. To be suspended, academic fare, BSP, GSP, club fee, confirmation, culminating fee, cultural show fee, DAVRA or DCAA, First Communion, SKLA, immersion, TechVoc, immersion fee, performing arts, cookery, and the like, athletics, clinical laboratory, athletics, HEI's cultural competition, non-academic club fee. To be decreased, school news, letter, classroom aircon, fee, medical, dental, audiovisual, energy fee, speech laboratory, science laboratory, vocational laboratory, computer laboratory, internet laboratory. To increase instructional materials. To be retained, alumni fee, community development service, examination, GAB, GRACE, ICT development fee, ID validation, moving up, PTA, JK, parent recollection. SRCY, registration, library fee, guidance services, physical facilities development, ICT development, educational technology, research fee, NSTP, ROTC, CWT, SLTS, Sports Development Program, Recognition Day, Internet Laboratory. As you may have observed, there are numerous items therein. We just clustered them together. The material shared to us by Sister Marisa pertains to elementary, junior high school, senior high school, and college departments. Hence, there were too many of them clustered together. The last but not the least, of course, came from the Catholic College Diocese of Calibo. Father Jobert Villasis, the Vice Chairman of CAP SUPCO, shared this document with us. To be suspended are the following: APRISA fee, student organ or club, GSP, BSP, technology, books, Tech Factor, TechnoKids. To be decreased, laboratory fee, energy fee, medical and dental fee, audiovisual, athletic fee, cultural, ACCSG, computer fee, language learning fee, learning activity sheets, aircon fee, books, tuition fee. To be increased, internet fee, Wi-Fi connectivity fee, educational materials. To be retained are the following: registration fee, institutional fee, guidance and counseling fee, test materials and permit, RFID, student manual, publication, student insurance, CAP, PTA, Osiris, Red Cross, technology, Tech Factors, TechnoKids, tuition fee. So, my gratitude and appreciation are extended to everyone, especially to my committee members who work very competently with me in coming up with this presentation and document, namely Sister Marisa Veri, Father Alain Manalo, Sir Alan Arellano, Ma'am Weng, and Ma'am Lisa of the CAP National Office. Of course, Father Jobert, who is not a member of this committee but generously shared a document coming from his system. To you and to everyone on board at this platform, thank you very much, and God bless us all. I understand Father Alain, Sister Marisa, Sir Alan Arellano, and myself will be available to respond to any question that you may want to address to any of us. Again, thank you very much, and my appreciation.
Okay, thank you for that, Father Delvo. We would also like to inform everyone that you will be receiving your e-certificate upon completion of the evaluation form after the webinar. The link will be posted in the link comment section below, and it will be available within 2 days. And now we move on to our Q&A session. We will be selecting questions from the comment section below, and we have also invited our CAAP Vice President and the President of the University of the Immaculate Conception, Sister Marisa Veri, RBM. Morning, Sister. We also have Father Alain Manalo, the CAAP Corporate Secretary and Superintendent of the Diocese of Imus Cavite Catholic Educational System. Good morning, Father Alain.
Good morning.
So they are all here to answer some of the questions together with Father Delvo. All right, so the first question that we got from the comment section is from Maricar de Jesus. Hi, Father Delvo, can we have a copy of your talk? So they're just asking if we can, if they can have a copy, Father.
Certainly, through the CAP office.
Yes, thank you, Paul. Well, yes, actually, we will also be sending it over to you through email together with the e-certificates. And by the way, you can also rewatch this live video in our Facebook page. All right, thank you so much, Marikar. Next question is from Net J Cat. Says here, good morning po. Do school need to consult parents regarding tuition fees? I think this question is for Father Albert.
We have to consult with, or we have to conduct proper consultation with all stakeholders. And the parents, of course, are primary in the listing of stakeholders. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Father. Yes, Father Elaine, would you like to add, Bob?
Yeah, if there will be an increase in the tuition fee, it's a requirement that we consult our parents, our stakeholders. Well, Father Albert mentioned that in our diocese, we really plan to increase the tuition, but we never proceeded. Now, second, even if there is no increase in the tuition fee, I think it's very, very advisable that we are consulting our parents. What we are experiencing right now, the parents are very much concerned first with the program that the school will offer for the next school year. And if they're happy with the program, they will be after the fees that we will be collecting. And so the consultation of fees will be very important also to gain, to recruit students and to gain confidence of our parents.
May I add?
Sure, Sister.
With regards to the fees, no, especially those that will be retained and reduced, the school has to be ready with a justification. For example, if you decided to retain library fee, medical and dental, guidance, no, whether you reduce or you retain, the school has to be ready with a justification to be able to explain to parents that I experienced that, no, for example, library fee. They said students are not in school. Why do you retain, or why did you just reduce? Why not suspend it? So the school has to be ready with explanation. Another example is medical and dental guidance. No, the schools should have a clear program for guidance and medical and dental in case you decided to retain or reduce the fees. Because if you will not be able to give, especially if you're offering online, they will question you. No, why is still retained guidance fee and medical and dental when we are on full online? So it's important that for every fee, the school has a justification.
I couldn't agree more, Sister. Well, thank you, Paul, Father Aline, and Sister, for the comments. Next question, Paul. Thank you, Father Albert, for a very good presentation on revisiting fees. Then we would pursue what SRDI in our tuition and miscellaneous fees. That's from Gilda Villador. Okay. And then the next question is from Joanne Fontanilla Joven. How would you explain the tuition fee retain or increase to parents despite the online scheme?
Father Lane, you kindly, Sister Marisa.
Yeah, I'll be the first one. That is really a question that keep on coming. And of course, I think we have to tell the parents that teaching is not just standing in front of the students and explaining the lesson. I think it's high time to explain to our community what teaching entails. So it starts with, of course, taking an education degree, passing the board exams, undergoing a lot of training, curriculum development, instructional designing, preparing the learning kits, printing, etc. And then also monitoring the performance, being available for consultation. There's a lot. There's really a lot. And it's just about the teacher talking to the students in front of the class. So yun ang pinapaliwanag namin sa mga magulang.
Sister Marita, would you like to add?
With regards to questions of parents, no, why we are still retaining the same amount of tuition, or in some cases, some schools increase. But just like Father Alain, although we are level 3 and we can increase, no, the tuition, we did not anymore increase, but nevertheless, parents will still ask, why charge the same fee when when students are not in school? No, in addition to what Father Alain already shared as his comment, it's important that the teachers will be able to come up with a very clear learning package. And then from there, parents will see whether you go synchronous or asynchronous, whether it's correspondence or homeschooling. If you have a very clear learning package, they will see the effort of the teachers. And then the school should also have a very clear schedule of classes. For example, how often, if you are online, how often will the teacher meet the students? If you are using a certain platform, as Father Alain said, it's not just a matter of you give them the lesson and that's it. There would still be interaction. And then for, I have cited earlier, guidance and help. If the students are using belongs to category 3, full online, the school should be able to provide a time for the guidance counselor or guidance facilitator na kumustahin yung bata, and then they should have also ready homeroom materials that they can send through email, or if you are doing it through correspondence, part of the package that you send to your students, it's already included there, the homeroom program that they have to accomplish. For the medical and dental, we are even, part of our program is there's an online consultation. I think many hospitals now and clinics are doing online consultation. So our doctor also and our nurses was provided a time by our basic education and even in the college where magkumustahan sila with the students, How are you doing now? How are you feeling? So as I have mentioned earlier, importante na may program ang school even if we are doing distance learning. So you have to prepare mga materials that the students can read, accomplish. After, if you are using a certain platform, you can upload it and then expect the student to return it. So not because it's distance learning, you don't anymore interact with the students. Even if it's distance learning, you still interact with the students. But as I have said, the school should have a very clear program and schedule. Kasi if the parents will not see that, then they will start questioning. For grades, kinder to grade 3, in our case, we are doing a correspondence homeschooling. So we give them a complete learning package. And in our implementing rules and regulations for the distance learning, we even said that parents, because they're out for their job for 8 hours, they can connect with our administrators and teachers after office hours. So we already oriented our teachers, expect parents of kinder to grade 3 to get in touch with you, to contact you after office hours for questions, clarification regarding the lesson. So oriented na yung teachers namin that even after office hours, they could be contacted by our parents.
Thank you, Sister Marisa.
Parang 24 hours ngayon.
Yes.
Parang even our enrollment, sometimes we receive email, if you track, they send email doon, mga ganon, inquiring about tuition, inquiring about their bank accounts, 24 hours. So, yun.
That's true, sister. Even me po as a parent, I usually just send emails after work as well. So yes, thank you po for considering the working parents. Yes. Okay, so moving on to our next question from Grace Buscato. Good morning. How about the small mission schools where the school is dependent only on the government subsidy? We cannot really give June and July salaries to our teachers since there is no income in the said 2 months.
Well, I may take that, may offer a first answer.
Sure.
In our diocese, we also have mission schools, but they're able to navigate themselves because we are one system and there is maximum sharing at all fronts, including finances. Kaya dinadala ng mga bigger schools. And besides, I require my bigger schools to remit to my office whatever excess they have, big or little, and I use them those funds in order to subsidize the mission schools. Kaya lahat nadadala. Kaya nasa sharing lang po yan within the system. And if you are a diocesan school, approach your bishop or your superintendent. This is the time really to share unlimited at all fronts, not only finances, but also personal expertise. Kaya makakaya po yan talaga. Basta magtulungan ng lahat ng schools in the diocese or in the system.
Thank you, Father. Would you like to add anything, Father Elaine, Sister Marisa?
Well, the same is true in our diocesan system. If you're a system, then big schools can help small schools. Then one thing, you really have to get from your savings. Hindi ko lang alam kung may saving yung school na nagtanong. Now, also one thing, I think we have to talk to our employees kung wala naman tayong aalisin. I think ang mahalaga, survival mode muna. At kami, we practice that kasama ang superintendent, mga school directors, mga pare, lahat ay nandun tayo sa survival mode. We agreed na 75% lang ng aming mga salaries or allowances ang tatanggapin hanggang makarecover tayo. Tapos, I don't know, sa ibang school, merong fixed amount just to survive, no? Pwedeng mangutang ang school o kaya humingi ng tulong sa diocese or kung saan sa savings. And then, kaya bukod sa pagpapasweldo, it's also important that we exert effort now to prepare for the next school year. Kasi babawiin natin lahat for the next school year, and the expenses for like May, June, July ay kasama naman yun sa expenses ng one school year. So kapag maganda yung ating program at sensitive yung ating mga school fees at tinakilik tayo ng mga estudyante, ng mga magulang, mababawi natin yung ating pinaluwal ngayong wala tayong pera.
May I add? No?
Sure.
Since I belong to a congregational school, our governance came up with a scheme, no, to all RBM schools that we will follow. And even before COVID, we already have a resource sharing scheme. It's not only material, human, but we subsidize. No, we have schools as far as Samar, no, and we have several mission schools. And as I have said, even before COVID, we have been subsidizing already schools, the congregation. So ngayon, ganun din, no? We continue subsidizing those who cannot really, those who do not have enough reserve funds to be able to pay the salary of the personnel. But as I have said, we came up with implementing rules and regulation with regards to how salary will be given during the period of the gap. Kasi parang we are changing the fiscal year, no? Our fiscal year before was May to April, but because of the gap, no, we did not have classes this June, and then some of our schools will still have no classes July, but there are some already opening in July. So magiging August, so July to June ang fiscal year mo. So it's not anymore a 12 or 13 month period, but more than. No, but as I have said, it has already been a practice in our congregation that we subsidize mission schools.
Yeah, Dianne, if I may add,
Yes, ma'am.
I think we should also be enterprising at this time. And some schools I know in Cavite do this. For example, we don't just rely on tuition fees during vacation. No? Ano kaya kung mag-online food delivery business ang school, yung cantiners sila magluto, tapos yung mga drivers mag-deliver. Hindi ko lang alam, no, kung if everything goes back naman for educational operations, no, tax-free naman siguro yan. Makasurvive lang. I'm also,
Yes.
we have also congregational school na nagpa-farming ngayon ang kanilang mga empleyado kasi malaki yung
Wow.
At least kahit pa paano, busy, meron
Yes.
pa na hindi lang nakaasa sa tuition fees tsaka sa mga school fees. I don't know kung ano pang mga negosyo ang pwedeng maisip ng mga school, iparenta yung school service. I don't really know, no? Pero palagay ko, there are other ways na the school can earn income to support their employees just to survive for the moment.
I agree with you, Father Elaine. Well, yes po, we can actually use yung school service po if if ever, para po, instead of them being laid off, they can have jobs po. We can keep them before, and then resume na yung classes, then that's the time that they go back to their normal job. All right, thank you po, Sister Marisa, Father Dean, Father Albert. So we still have 10 more minutes. We can actually answer this next question. So from Emmanuel Cañares, can school provide staggered payment to help the parents? If yes, what is the suggested number of months payable?
With regard to the schedule of payments, you can offer either monthly or bi-monthly, quarterly, or semi-annual, or annual. So in order to accommodate the various parents, so it can be done that way. And then there's no surcharge, penalties in case they're unable to pay, considering we are at difficult times. So no surcharge, no penalties, and exams or assessments will have to be given just the same, and just appeal to parents to do their part, because the school is doing its part in order to ensure the school continuity learning program for their children. Kaya everything goes for as long as they do their part and we do our part. Monthly, quarterly, bi-monthly, pwede lang yan. Ilalagay lang natin ng ideal date of collection. Pero kung they are unable to pay on time, we have to extend our understanding, allowance, and just encourage them to do what they can in the next schedule of payment. So talagang unawain natin sila, and we accommodate, embrace them in their situations of difficulties and challenges along the way.
Yeah, if I may add, siguro titimplahin natin ito, If the school has enough reserve fund, siguro pwede 10 months magbayad yung mga magulang. Pero kapag ang school ay talagang isang kahig isang tuka, then I think we have to collect funds as the earlier the better, say like 6 months or 8 months. So una yung pagtimpla. Tapos pangalawa, yung pakikipag-usap sa mga magulang. I think we have to make them understand na itong sitwasyon ng school. Tapos we should also be sensitive ano yung kanilang sitwasyon. Pwede namang shorter period, like in 8 months, makolekta mo na lahat. Pero meron naman tayo laging provision for promissory notes. So
Yes.
I hope many will pay on time. And then meron mangilan-ngilan na hindi makakabayad. Ang mahalaga mag-survive ang ating eskwelahan. We also have to consider yung mga nakadepende sa ESC at senior high school voucher. Medyo late, baka late dumating yan. Kaya ang pwede din gawin, yung iba kasi binabawas agad yung ESC at ang babayaran yung natira na lang. We're in some of our schools na pwede naman, bayaran nyo muna lahat, tapos kapag dumating yung ESC, saka namin ibabalik sa inyo.
That can be done po. Yes, thank you, Father Alain. Here po, so we have a question here from Perlita Dohinog. Good morning, Father Albert. Is it allowed if we will just rename our fees as substitution to the other additional fees, like the modules, reproduction, or other learning materials? So if it's okay though, if they can just rename it.
Well, this period of challenge and difficulty, everything is possible, You can rename it or reclassify that as you wish, for as long as you're able to manifest your sensitivity to the plight of parents as well as the situations. Yun ang maring gawin, Of course, we discourage collecting additional fees and increasing too much, but reclassifying, renaming can be allowed.
Thank you po, Father. Well, I think we still have like 5 more minutes po. If we can wrap up by having each one of you do a short message for all our viewers right now. Let's start po with Father Delvo.
Pwede ba si Sister muna, ladies first?
Sure po. Sister Marisa.
Okay. In relation to the topic that we have presented to the participants, I think bottom line is sensitivity, sensitivity of the school. We consider our clientele, and as I have said, what is important is the school has a very clear program, If the school has a very clear program, I think parents will not question the fees that we'll be charging, and they will be encouraged to enroll. I have been saying this always. This time can be an opportunity for us, no, Catholic schools, especially if we will be true to our mission of delivering quality education. And this is the challenge that we all have to really face, no, that in spite of the COVID, we are still able to deliver quality education. And the parents are able to get, our clientele are able to get the worth of what the payment that they are giving us. So hindi pwede na because it's COVID, hindi na tayo mag-exert effort. I think, as I have said, this is an opportunity for us to tell people that in spite of the pandemic, we continue delivering quality transformative education. And that is our mission.
Thank you, Sister. Father Elaine?
Yeah, I think I would want to speak. I want to speak about projections and contingencies. Kasi meron pa bang face-to-face classes na mangyayari during the year? Kasi nakadepende yung ating school fees dito sa ating mga projections eh. So I think most schools now, ang hirap magbaba. Paano pag nag-face-to-face? You know what? Ito pinaka-latest sa aming diocese, we decided na, okay, we will plan for a no face-to-face school year. The whole year through, walang face-to-face. At ang laki talaga ng ibinaba ng school fees lalo. And the parents are very happy about it. Pero may contingency. What if there will be face-to-face? So eto nakalagay din sa school fees namin. So we have the no face-to-face school fees. This is good for 1 year. And then, kapag biglang nag-face-to-face, eto ang mga babayaran ng mga estudyante natin. So, parang I think, yun, madali namin na ipapaliwanag para kapareho ng sa Novaliches. Ang Novaliches naman, eto yung fees for 1 year, pero kapag walang face-to-face, eto naman yung ibabawas. Kami baligtad naman. I think, yung clarity na, kasi nga, ang daming uncertainties pa eh. Kaya yung ating school fees, medyo talagang pagtitimpla yan. And I think we must be able to find the best mix, the most acceptable and the most sensitive to the situation taking place right now. Salamat po.
So on my part, first of all, I thank everyone, Sister Marisa, Father Elaine, for, as likewise, Sir Alan Arellano, and our dear President, nandiyan, Father Elmer, everyone with us, thank you very much for your presence and contribution, your listening. Thank you very much. Second, I was saying the situation is fluid, and therefore, as we move forward, needed adjustments may be necessary. And thirdly, of course, you are facing lots of challenges and problems, but given God's grace, given our agility, resiliency, and ability to scale the challenge, and with us together in communion for the mission, nothing is insurmountable. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Father Delvo, Father Elaine, and Sister Marisa. That concludes our Q&A session. Our next session will be from manual to automated, shifting to online enrollment, and it will be turned off to Mr. Bell in a few. Stay tuned.
Good morning, everyone. We have just concluded the first part of this webinar. Let me welcome you to the second session of this back-to-back webinar. I am Isabel Cruz, CAP PCSS Coordinator, and I will be facilitator of this session entitled From Manual to Automated, Shifting to Online Enrollment. Before we proceed, may I just remind the participants that the questions may be posted in the comments section as the speaker is making his presentation, and these will be answered during the question and answer portion. Now, kindly help me welcome our first speaker, the president of RAKSO City, our partner and website developer of the CAP Enrollment Assistance Portal, and our host for the CAP webinar series, Mr. Alan A. Vasquez.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Gibella, kind introduction. So today, this morning, I will discuss to you what CAP Enrollment Assistance Program is all about. So it's from manual to automated, shifting to online enrollment. So most of you maybe would already know what CAP AYAP is about. And I'd like to briefly tell you why CAP is doing this, why CAP is extending this assistance to everyone. We would like to help all small schools to medium schools that doesn't have the capacity to really develop and deploy, implement their own online enrollment system. So with this program, even the mission schools, even with small schools, you can enjoy this enrollment system provided by CAP. So I would really encourage everyone to subscribe and use this program. As I'll show you with the following slides on how you could quickly set up, easily set up this program. First is, how do you apply to the program? This is open for all CAP member schools. So, next slide, please. So, how to apply? First, you need to go to the eap.caap.org.ph. So, for those schools who haven't applied yet to this website, eap.caap.org.ph to apply. After you get your application, after you submit your application, you will be receiving your account credentials with the username and password. Okay. Once you receive your username and password, actually the CAP is also, I think, subsidizing this program, which Father Iking will explain after me on how to get that subsidy. So once you log in, the first thing that your school will do is to set up an account. So this is an 7-step process, which is very easy. So the first step is for your school to input your school information, name of school, address, contact information, email address, mobile number, etc. After the school information, the next step you will do is to upload your student data. So that's step 2. Can you go to the next slide? Upload your current or old student data. Why do we need to upload the old student data? Because this will be the basis of the system for the students re-enrolling. Okay, so if you miss a name here, of course, the student won't be recognized by the system as an old student or as a current student. There's a template, so you can just upload it via Excel file, so through a CSV format. Okay. Next step is the email notifications. So because I'd like to highlight the difference between this system and a Google form, probably, because I've seen a lot of schools who are using Google Forms as a method of their enrollment. There's nothing wrong with using Google Form. That's okay. If you are happy with it, that's okay. However, the CAP program is a more comprehensive and a more automated system versus that of a Google form. So, for instance, Google form will just accept information and the school will process it. For CAPA, it accepts the information and process the information within and output the data to the students or parents. So if that's the difference. So if you go to the email notification, which is step 3, you'll put here all the reminders you need, whether through payment instruction, whether exam and interview schedule, whether payment receipt notification, it will be all automated and it can be customized by your school. So whatever instructions, whatever information you want to relate to the parents can be done here. Okay. Next step is step 4. There's actually also a feature that you can notify SMS. Okay. So apart from the email, there's also SMS notification. Okay. Step 5 is the customized enrollment link. So even if it's hosted under the CAP URL or under the CAP website, each school will have your own URL. So for example, it's aap.caap.org.ph/school name. Okay, so there may be some schools with almost the same name. So I suggest you try to reserve your own URL as soon as possible. Okay. Then the next step would be the uploading of fees. So each grade level, of course, will definitely have their own payment schedule or fees. So you have to upload it here. So from kinder to from nursery to grade 1 to 12, you have to upload here and include other instructions if needed. By the way, I'd like also to remind everyone that the CAPA program system is for basic education because we felt that the higher education is a bit more complicated. It's a bit difficult to standardize their process. While for the basic education, we designed the system as standard and as open as possible. Okay. And after uploading all your fees, the final step would be to activate your account. So once you activate your account, this is you're saying that you're ready to accept your enrollment. Okay, so once you publish this, you can now broadcast this to your Facebook pages, to Viber, to anywhere, to emails, to the parents. Okay? So how do a parent or a student enroll? So after the activation, since you already have your URL, let's go now to on how a student enrollment application. So the first step is provide them the URL, which you said earlier. You'll be landed to this landing page. Next slide. There's a sign-in page. So there's a sign-up page, or if you have already created an account, then you just sign up. Okay. Next is you'll be asked to verify your email. Okay. In the email verification, we want to do this because we want to make sure that your school gets the right email address. You know, it's not a fake email address, or maybe it's a typo. Some it happens, you know, sometimes may typo. So you need to validate. We verify that email address. Okay, next step. Next slide. Okay. So once you verify your email address, you'll be asked to input your username and password. Again, these are for parents and students. Okay. Once they log in, you'll see this page. Enroll a student. Next slide. Okay. If you notice an enroll student and then there's a plus sign, because we also designed the system for multiple enrollment for one account. So for example, I'm a parent and then I have 2 children going to the same school. I don't need to create several accounts. I just need to create one account and enroll multiple students in my account. So let's try to enroll one student. So if you click the enroll student, okay, slide, it would first ask what level are you enrolling for. If it's a current student, we'll already know the grade level, but if it's a new student, you have to input it. Okay. Next, it asks for the student information. It submits photo, LRN, name, address, all the basic information that we think is needed by the school. Again, we designed these fields based from the common information that the school needs. Next step is the family background. So you input your father, mother, guardian details. Fourth step would be the requirements. These are the documentary requirements. Now, there are some schools who would still require to submit copies, so they can upload it directly to the system, so they don't need to email it, they just upload it to the system. Or if your school decided to waive or temporarily suspend the submission, because there's, I think, a few schools, some schools who said that they would be suspending the submission because of the situation. So you can also do so. That would be, it would be a case-to-case, or it can be set up in the school admin side. After the submission of the requirements, the last step as a parent or student would be the attestation. So attestation, this is where you confirm all the details, the data privacy policy of the school. Okay. So after attestation, the parents or your account would have will be locked because it's already turned over to the school. So the next step, once we finish the submission, the school receives this. So how would the school receives those enrollments? The school logs in back to the school admin portal. So slide, the same account that you where you set it up. So this is how a dashboard would look like. So on the left side, you'll see here the dashboard. There's also a tutorial, a full tutorial on how, even if you don't watch this webinar, if you already have an app, you just go to the tutorial side. It's on the left side. There's a full video tutorial. You'll see your enrollment data. You will see old students, new students coming in. You can extract reports. You can set up your account. If ever you miss something, you can still do so. Okay, so once you get the monitor, for example, you want to check a student, you can click a student. So next slide. From here, you can update your enrollment status. You can select different statuses for each student, whether it's for review, whether it's for payment, whether the payment is confirmed, until to the enrollment. Now, remember I mentioned about email notifications earlier. Whenever you upload statuses or whenever you change a student status, it notifies the student. So they would know where they are. Okay. Until to the step of once you finish all of this, the next step would be the payment. This is where the parents can upload their proof of payment. Remember, I think most of the schools now are, please email us your bank deposit slip, right? That's a normal thing. Or please send us your bank confirmation through this email. But if you use SEAP AAP, they don't need to email, they just need to upload this in the system. It automatically will tag this to your student and check. So it's inside one pool system, so it doesn't come everywhere. No. So once the parent or the student uploads this payment, okay, next step would be for your finance or cashier, finance department to check whether to verify the authenticity of this payment. Once they confirm that this is a legit bank confirmation or a payment has been confirmed, you can send the payment receipt notification at the same time, in this page, at the same time, you can already issue your certificate of enrollment. Now, the certificate of enrollment is digital, but it's a proof that, for the parents, that it's a physical proof na, okay, we are already enrolled. Okay, next slide. Okay. So that's where you send the next. So you'll see this final page that if I'm the parent or student, that I already finished the whole process. So the COE will be sent to your email. It would also be made available to your dashboard, which you can download. Okay. Once you the next steps here are case to case. So the school can announce when will be the opening of classes, what would be the next steps. So it would be up to the school to announce those dates or those information. Okay. So this is a sample certificate of enrollment. Okay. It has a QR code. Can you go to the next slide? Okay. It has a QR code. It has the name of the school, the details of the child. Now, because this is a digital copy, you'll notice there's a QR code, so we can verify the authenticity of this document, because it can be passed around and then maybe they would just use Photoshop and edit. They can do that because you can still verify. So I think I am trying to what I'm trying to explain here is the whole process and how easy for your schools to use this. If you think the Google Forms or the similar methods are effective for you, CEAP would be a much better option. It's a much better system because that's how we designed the whole system. So currently, we already have, next slide, we currently have 169 schools who applied for the CAP. And we hope that more schools, this is as of yesterday, so we hope that there would be more schools who would be who will take advantage of this benefit, or maybe this system that the CEAP is providing. We've heard earlier the fees, we've heard earlier the all the concerns of the parents. I didn't mention here what are really the advantages of online enrollment. Given this, I have a short poll here. Can we show the question? Okay. So, is your school ready for an online enrollment? So, if yours, some would say we're not ready. Some would say, oh, we don't have infrastructure. Some would say maybe our students or parents won't have the internet. So again, this system, even if you think your school is not ready because of infrastructure, because of manpower, because of your capabilities maybe, or maybe because of your skills, the CAP app should still be considered because it's another avenue where you can get your enrollment. Some schools have multiple channels of enrollment. They can do manual, or they can do on-site. They can do online enrollment. It should be both options. If you may. Again, this is not a single option that if you implement the online enrollment, then do we just use the online enrollment? No, it's an option. It's also an added channel. But most schools still prefer to use one single method. So if you go online, I think it's easier. It's a better way. To give you an example, just last week, we've launched one school, launched, and in less than in one day, they can get 1,000 enrollment. In one day, without having them going to the school physically, without having their staff visit their school, they can accept enrollment online, in one day, 1,000 students. With their staff were just all working from home, The collection goes to the bank. So then your finance team doesn't need to report directly or immediately. So those are the benefits of having an online enrollment. So again, I hope I gave you the advantages or convinced you to take advantage of the SEAP AYAP. I think we'll have a Q&A later on after this session. So I'll thank you very much. I'll send you over again to Isabel.
Thank you, Alan. Before we proceed to the question and answer portion, we'll have our next speaker. Help me welcome PCSS mentor and member of the Technical Working Group on PCSS for Higher Education, CAP Negros Island Trustee, and CAP National Advocacy Commission Chair, Reverend Father Thadeu Enrique Balongag.
Morning, everyone, and welcome to the second day of our webinar. I'm introducing to you the programs of CAP to assist schools as they roll out their continuity plan, especially during these times of COVID. My role is to explain to you the Enrollment Assistance Program. A while ago, you heard Alan of RAKSO explaining to you the process, the mechanics, and the nature of the online enrollment system that CAP has developed together with RAKSO. My role is to explain to you three things. First is the reason of CAP for introducing the Enrollment Assistance Program, what we call the CAP EAP. The second is to explain to you the fund that CAP is tapping so that it can roll out the Enrollment Assistance Program. And the third is the criteria that CAP is using in choosing schools that can be subsidized using the fund. Although I like to say the online enrollment assistance program or the enrollment assistance program of CAP is open to all member schools. But there are schools that are being considered as small mission and they need assistance. Now let me explain to you the first point that I would like to share. The reason of CAP in coming up with an enrollment assistance program. We all know that things will no longer be carried out the way we used to carry them out prior to COVID-19. There is social distancing, there is a fear of contracting the virus, and a whole lot more. And so CAP, conscious of these things and these realities, decided to come up with an enrollment assistance program to make sure that no member school is left behind, big and medium. I repeat, CAP wants to make sure that no school is left behind, big and medium, and small or more. And that is why it has designed the enrollment assistance program for schools that have strong connectivity and schools that have limited internet capability so that all schools can be attended to. And the second is CAP allocated funds so that it can, first of all, design the program with RAKSO, but second, to make sure that small mission schools were assisted. But by God's grace, we were able to get a funder. With the approval of our president and our treasurer, we were able to get a funder that will subsidize small mission schools primarily. I was looking at the figure presented by Sir Alan a while ago, and I saw that about 169 schools have already decided to subscribe. To be honest with you, fellow educators, the fund that we got from Cleef's Publishing can subsidize up to 500,000 students. And so far, we only have about 169 schools with roughly about 100,000 students. We can subsidize as many as we can because we want to make sure that the continuity of teaching learning process goes on. And small, medium-sized, and big schools are all assisted. So, but how do we choose schools? We have a criteria to use in order to decide who to subsidize 100%, 50%, and which schools should pay the entire amount of 10 pesos per student. You have to take note that the amount is not as big because, again, we would like to make sure that we get to assist all member schools. But looking at the whole thing, it looks like we may be able to assist more, considering that our allocation is for 500,000 students. So here is the criteria for subsidy. The first that we would like to look into is the financial capacity of students. And this is best supported by the tuition fee charged by schools. So schools with tuition fee below 15,000 are considered a priority. Schools whose tuition fee are higher than 15,000, especially 36,000 and above, also are categorized and classified as another group. Based on this category, we will be able to decide initially which schools we can subsidize. That's the first, financial capacity of students using the tuition fee basis. The second is location of the school. The location of the school is based on the classification of a municipality or city. If it's a first class, second class, third, fourth, fifth, sixth class municipality or city, then your school, if located in any of these municipalities, can be classified according to a particular group or classification. So that's the second. The poorer your municipality is, the bigger the chances of you getting 100% subsidy, especially if your tuition fee is low. And the third category or criterion is student population. If your school is small with less than 500 students, then you belong to a particular category. If your school has over 500 students up to 2,000, then your school belongs to another category, and so on and so forth. So to summarize, three aspects will be looked into to determine and to decide whether your school gets a subsidy or not. First, financial capacity of students. Second, location of your school. And third, student population. So those are the three things that I like you to remember. First, EAP decided to come up with an EAP to make sure that no school is left behind, big and small. Second, CEAP decided to fund this program to assist schools, but because we were able to tap Cleef's Publishing, we will be able to subsidize the first 500,000 students coming from our member schools that would like to avail of a subsidy. And third is that the criteria that CAP wishes to use in subsidizing. And there are three items in the criteria. First, financial capacity of students, which takes about 40%. Second, location of the school, which takes about 35%. And third, student population, which takes about 25%. So basically, my dear fellow educators and school administrators, fathers and sisters, this is the program that will support our online or our enrollment assistance program that we would like to roll out and give to you so that we will be able to see continuity of operations in our schools even in post-COVID times when the new normal is required of all of us. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Father Iking. Wait lang po. Okay, welcome to the question and answer portion of this webinar. Before we proceed, may I just mention that we are still monitoring the comment section for your questions, and that you will receive the certificate of attendance upon completion of the evaluation form later. The link will be posted in the comment section later and will be available for an hour after the webinar. It will continue to accept responses an hour after the webinar. Okay, there are questions here for, okay, from Maricor de Jesus, good morning. What about if our clientele has no connectivity? This is from La Consolacion College, Bais, Negros Occidental. Perhaps Sir Allen can answer.
I think that would be very difficult because the system is really designed to be a web-based, and it's the first requirement. So you should have internet connectivity.
Okay, from Sun or Ev, good morning po. Ito, technical po. Paano po maglagay ng strands sa grade 11 na mag-enroll sa online? I guess kay Sir Allen.
Yeah, it's in the setup. So the strands would be made available for you to choose from what your school offers.
This next question, Father Iking, I think you mentioned this already, but let me just ask again from SNA, Sana Malitbog, from Southern Leyte. Is the automated online free?
Oh, like what I mentioned, so far, we have about 169 schools subscribing. Our allocation is for 500,000 students. And based on the data I got yesterday, I think the 129 schools have about close to 90,000 students. So we have a lot of, we have an allowance. Meaning, for as long as pasok ka dun sa first 500,000 students, I guess, ganun na lang gagawin natin. With the permission of our President, Father Elmer, and Father Albert Delvo, our treasurer, we can probably accommodate them and then, not charge them anything at all. Anyway, we have enough room for subsidy, because so far only about 169, based on Sir Allen's data gathered yesterday, we only have about 169 schools that have decided to subscribe our EAP. That figure can be very well accommodated. So my suggestion po is, for as long as you make it to the first 500,000 na lang, you can be, because sayang naman funds that we were able to gather. No, but again, like what I mentioned, first we have a criteria. We have a set of criteria to determine which schools can get 100% subsidy, which schools can get 50% subsidy, and which schools can get will have to pay the entire amount. Okay, so I mentioned to you again briefly. First is the capacity of students based on the tuition that your school is charging. Second is the location of your school. Which municipality, if your school is in a municipality that's classified A or B or C, it may not be given the priority. But if your school is in a municipality that's classified D or E or F, they may be given, your schools may be given the priority in the subsidy. And then of course, third is student population. If you come from a big school, then most likely you will not be prioritized in the subsidy, but you still can avail of the EAP, but only you'll have to pay for it. But if your school belongs to the small mission schools, then you can be given 100% subsidy. But like what I said, if we do not get to maximize the 500,000 student allocation that our funder, Clips Publishing, has kindly extended to us, then we will welcome all. That's what I'm looking at in terms of direction. Of course, with the approval of our President, Father Elmer, and Father Albert Delvo, our treasurer. Thank you, Ms. Jubel.
However, may I just clarify, Father, we have two kinds of applicants. We received two kinds of applications in the CAP EAP. One one kind is applying for the subsidy, the other is not applying for the subsidy. So we have ang grupo ng RAKSO City of Sir Allen have been processing data and have been giving user credentials even to those who have applied but not for the subsidy. So meron po tayong two groups in the system, just to mention lang po. So we have another question. Aying Alcantara Magleo. Hi, good morning. May I know if this online enrollment is made exclusive to CAP member schools only? Thank you. May I mention lang po that yes, presently the program is for CAP members. However, eventually the board may decide to extend to other private schools with the same vision as CAPs. We actually have a couple who are not members, but we have the same vision as CAP. But if you have something to add, Father.
Yeah, I think the task force initially made an agreement that it can be, I got this from Mr. Arellano, we can accommodate non-member schools, but I think the benefits may be different. Because again, the vision of CAP and the leadership is to make sure that schools, especially if they are being endorsed by the superintendent and the trustee, no school is left behind. That's the vision. So we want to extend the system and the program, but I think the benefits may vary, unless of course if this has already been changed by the task force and by the leadership. But based on my last conversation about this with Mr. Arellano, I think we can welcome them, but the benefits may be different.
Thank you, Father. Merong question, Father, may I ask po, is this different from ESC subsidy? May I first clarify that the subsidy is not a tuition fee subsidy. It is only for the setting up of the online enrollment system and not for the tuition fee or for any other support for the school. But Father Iking, if you want to add something.
Yeah, that's clear. Like we're talking about the enrollment assistance program of CAP, and we want to make sure that in this particular operation of the school, no member school is left behind, that we all can roll out an enrollment system using what RAKSO has developed. So it's all about the enrollment facility that we want to extend to our member schools. ESC is totally different, and it is tackled and handled by PEAC, that handles FAPE, the Fund for Assistance to Private Education. Ours is called the CEAP EAP. So a play of letters. So it's easy to recall. CEAP EAP, that stands for Enrollment Assistance Program, which our leadership felt is necessary and critical in the rolling out of school year 2020-2021. So it's a different thing po.
For online enrollment lang po. Si Father June Estoque wanted to ask, when po ang activation since we are working on the files of our students? This is from Cabarrus Catholic College, Sir Allen po.
Yeah, but there is no deadline for the uploading or until when you can activate your CAP EAP. There's no deadline. However, I think the deadline would be dependent on the school when you intend to open your online enrollment, of course. So if you think your online enrollment will open next week, then I think you should prepare it a week before, so you'll have all the proper information, proper data that you need to upload will be there. So there's no deadline po.
Thank you, Sir Allen. That answers two more other questions of similar questions po. But this one from Ruben Zipagan. Presently, we already have students who enrolled manually. Are we going to include them in the system, Sir Allen?
Yes po. If you start setting up your account, when you upload your student data, there's an instruction there that if, for example, you have 100 students that already enrolled, when you upload it, you tag them as enrolled student. So in effect, you're migrating them to the system. So yes, you can po.
Okay, thank you po. Father Iking, to clarify po, yung what you mentioned earlier, so yung of the 129 applications, these are the applicants for the subsidy on the online enrollment system. Which schools will get the subsidy?
Yeah. Based on the criteria we have, those based on the ranking, schools may be able to get 100% subsidy or 50% subsidy. But if the leadership, like Father Elmer and Father or decide that if we decide to put a cut off, like if your application is in before, let's say, end of June, and we only have X number of students in the schools that have applied, we can, with the resources we have, we can possibly extend 100% subsidy to all. Now, but if by then we will go beyond the number that the fund can accommodate, then probably we can go on with our ranking of schools based on the points they get using the criteria that we have established. So we originally stick to the 100%, 50%, and full payment. But if the number of schools that subscribes to the EAP does not reach its maximum capacity, then we can probably open it up to all, with of course, with the approval of Father Elmer and Father Albert Delvo.
Thank you, Father Iking. From Angelita Aribal, does the system need to have an IT to operate it? Because we do not have an IT. Actually, may iba rin pong nagtanong ng ganoon.
Yes, thank you for that question. We designed the system to be as user-friendly as possible. You do not need an IT guy to set it up. You need your enrollment team to set it up. So again, the IT side will be taken care of CEAP and RAKSO. That's the technical side of it will handle po. From your end, you just need to set it up. So I think I can compare it to like a Google form. You don't need an IT guy to set up a Google form. It's the same way po. So you need your enrollment team. You need to sit down with your principal, with your admissions team, with your finance team. You need to create that team and talk about what you need. And all information should be uploaded to the system. So again, no need for an IT guy.
Thank you, Sir Alan. Also for you, Sir Alan, how about the Facebook chatbot? If we have the online system, is it automatically connected to the chatbot?
Yeah, right now po, it's an added service. So it's, if you can see, that's under step 4. So right now, it's what you can use for what CAP, EAP has. It's the web-based system for now. So we'll advise you once the chatbot is ready as well.
And thank you, sir. Estrelita Muli is a parent who has 3 children. Is it okay to that the deposit be made via bank? This is okay po, di ba? As we said earlier.
Yes, yeah, definitely. That's the idea. So, but it's a case to case per school. So, if the school has this instruction to accept via bank deposit or via bills payment or via GCash or via other payment channels other than the on-site, which is in the school accounting office, then it can be done.
Thank you, Sir Alan. We have a few questions on how to subscribe. You need to apply po to the CAP EAP. The website was shown earlier by Sir Alan Vasquez, but we will flash it again later for the others who would like to apply again, to apply for the CAP EAP. And reminder lang po ulit, because ang dami na pong nag-flood ng questions about the subsidy. So this is subsidy for the online, setting up of the online enrollment system for your school. It is not, again, it is not to subsidize the tuition fee of the students, nor is it for the teachers' assistance po. Just to be clear lang po. Do you want to add something, Father Iki?
Yeah, just want to make sure that we're clear. We're talking about the Enrollment Assistance Program of CEAP, and the subsidy we're talking about here is about the subscription of the program and the assistance we want to extend to students, so students don't have to pay as they use the EAP of CEAP.
Thank you po. Sir Alan, do you have anything to add po?
Yeah, siguro I'd like to add lang na the cost, again, the subsidy is set up and usage of the system. So it's the entire thing po. So you can set it up until the usage, until the report generation, until to the implementation side of it. So yeah.
Here's a question po. If since we are finding it useful, can we still use this again for the next school year and the next school year? Sir Alan po.
The system will be made available 24/7 po yan. Again, it's the decision, I think the decision would be with CEAP whether they would still continue to offer this the next school year, Father Iking.
Yes, Sir Alan. And of course the program can be used for as long as it's needed. However, I like to make it clear the subsidy is only for the school year. Okay, the subsidy is good only for the school. Well, if we can get another fund for next year, why not? That we will pray for that. So schools can really be assisted by CAP, but definitely this school year, the system can be used and the fund can subsidize primarily small mission schools.
So to answer the question of that person, if ever, since yun yung it's only for this year, the subsidy, if the application is for the subsidy, when you decide to continue next year with the CAP, EAP, you will be charged that 10 pesos per student. Ganun po, ano, Sir Alan?
Yes,
Sir Alan,
yeah,
there's
that's
a question here. How are the schools going to be charged of the 10 pesos?
It's through CEAP. So if ever that you won't be included in the subsidy list, as mentioned by Father Iking, should you not be included in the list? But right now, we are very positive with the current number that we have. As mentioned by Father Iking, we still have a lot of room. But should there be a case na hindi na po kayo mapasama, it's through CEAP.
Thank you, Sir Alan.
I think
Vargas. Yes, Father Iking.
Yeah, Miss Jubel, I think the schools, if they don't qualify for the subsidy, they'll receive a billing, I think, from CAP. No.
Just Vargas, a question from Just Vargas. Can the EAP be used for other school purposes like issuance of grades?
Right now po, the system is designed for enrollment system alone until the issuance of certificate of enrollment, until payment right now. But we are very open to adding more modules to the system to extend more help to our member schools. I think that can be discussed with Father Elmer, Father Albert, and the rest of the task force. If they find that we need to add more modules to the system, but definitely that's possible, and that's something nice to do and nice to have.
But currently, it is only for the online.
Yes, for the enrollment. Currently, for the enrollment, online enrollment.
Thank you, Sir Alan. Okay po. Do you have anything to add, Father Iking?
I think everything is clear. Hopefully, now we were clear and we were understood in our presentation by our member schools. But I'd like to emphasize lang, Ms. Jubel, one thing. DepEd is requiring basic education institutions to submit a learning continuity plan, right? I think we all know about this. And the thing that we need to remember lang is everything we do in school during this school year must be in the LCP. I was listening to the Q&A during Father Albert's time and Sister Marisa and Father Alain. I'd like to emphasize that what DepEd wants to receive is an LCP, a learning continuity plan that contains everything. In other words, what we do in the school during the school year must all be contained in the LCP. If it's not in the LCP, you're not expected to be doing that. See, so that's the thing that I'd like everyone to remember. Thank you.
Another question from Hans Fonseca. Hi, CAP, to Sir Alan. Since we are talking about very private information, how can we ensure data security?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. Our servers are hosted on the cloud, so it's being protected as much as you want it to be as protected. Ganun din po kami. The security is our top priority. We are extending our best effort, not to have any breach, not to have any data loss or anything similar to hacking. Mostly that's the common concern of the users. So we are trying our best to really secure the data that we have. I hope we have that proper security measures in place.
Okay, thank you, Sir Alan. And may I also add po, to clarify, because may nagtanong din po about data privacy. CAP does not have access to that data po, di ba, Sir Alan? To the ones they
Correct. Correct. All the data are also hashed and secured, meaning not even CEAP can see the actual data that the school have. So there's that privacy that for the school only. We can only see numbers, we can only see the statistics, but we cannot see that actual data.
Thank you, Sir Alan. Okay, we're almost done po. We have time for one more question kung meron pong tanong. If not, may I ask Father Iking for his final words, perhaps?
Yeah. First of all, I'd like to thank all our member schools for supporting all the programs and activities of CAP, both on the national and regional levels. And I also would like to assure everyone that CAP, especially during these times, CAP through the task force and with the kind of leadership we have, really makes sure that our schools are assisted. So my dear administrators, fathers, sisters, and lay partners, if there's anything you wish us to assist you, as long as that concern is within our capacity to assist, we will assist you. Thank you very much. Stay safe, everyone.
Thank you, Father Iking. Sir Alan, do you have anything to add po?
Yeah, thank you again. Thank you for this session. Thank you for inviting us, and I hope that the member schools who haven't, if it's your first time to hear about CAP, EAP, I hope you get your application now. So it's to apply. It's it's eap.ceap.org.ph, or you just go to the CAP website. You'll find that link there. So we highly encourage you to maximize and utilize this subsidized online enrollment system by CEAP. So thank you very much.
That concludes our webinar. Thank you, Father Iking Balongag and Mr. Alan Vasquez, and the participants for all your time, for giving us your time. Reminder, you will receive the certificate of attendance upon completion of the evaluation form. I believe it is now pinned in the comments section of this webinar. And this will be available and will continue to accept responses an hour after the webinar. We encourage you to answer the evaluation form and you will receive your certificate of attendance within the next 2 days. Feel free to share the videos on our first 2 webinars for June and join our the next series of webinars next week. Again, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody, and God bless.